Hello students. So in this video we are going to study some topics from the chapter current electricity. Actually these are the miscellaneous topics from this chapter that we should know if we are studying about the electric current or current electricity. So these are important topics, means these are the basic topics about which we should have knowledge if we are studying current electricity. So let's see what are these topics. So first of all we will study about electrical energy, then electric power. After that we will be studying power rating. Now after this power rating, the next topic that we will be studying will be temperature dependence of resistivity, means how resistivity vary with temperature. And after that there are two questions that are very common, that are asked a lot, that why electric power is transmitted at high voltages and low currents. Means while we were transmitting electric power from one point to another through cables, we put it at high voltage and low currents. So what is the reason for that? And the last question that we will be studying is why alloys of metals have greater resistivity as compared to their constituent metals. मीन्स वो एलॉय जिस मेटल से बना है उस मेटल के कंपैरिजन में उनकी रेजिस्टिविटी ज़्यादा क्यों होती है. वी विल बी स्टडिंग द रीज़न फॉर दैट. Okay, so let's start with the topic first, that is electric energy. While talking about electric energy, we know that in any circuit there must be a source of EMF that can maintain an electric current in that circuit for a given time. So what that source of EMF do, it provides energy, or we can say it supplies energy to the circuit so that current is maintained in that for that given time. Or we can say an amount of work is done by that source of EMF to maintain electric current in that circuit. So the total work done, or we can say the energy supplied by the source of EMF in maintaining an electric current in that circuit for a given time is called energy, or we can say electric energy is called electric energy consumed in that circuit, right? So what is electric energy? Electric energy is the total work done, the total work done, or energy supplied by the source of EMF in maintaining an electric current in a circuit for a given time. Now this much energy or this much work done is called electric energy consumed in that circuit. Alright, so the total work done or energy supplied by the source of EMF is in maintaining an electric current in a circuit for a given time is called energy consumed in that circuit. Now this energy depends upon the power of the appliance that we used in that circuit and the time for which that power is maintained, right? The SI unit of this electrical energy is joule, that we already know that SI unit for the energy is joule, denoted by capital J, and 1 joule will be 1 volt into 1 ampere into 1 second. As we know, the relation that work done or H heat dissipated is equal to होता है VIT. voltage into current into time. So the energy of 1 joule will be equal to 1 volt into 1 ampere into 1 second. And this V into I, or we can say 1 volt into 1 ampere, this quantity denotes the power of 1 watt. Power of 1 watt, so it will be 1 watt into 1 second. So 1 joule is equal to 1 volt ampere second, or 1 watt second. If we talk about commercial unit of energy, commercial unit of electrical energy means those units in which we are consuming electrical energy. So these commercial unit of electrical energy will be 1 kilowatt hour. 1 kilowatt hour, and it is equal to 1 kilowatt into 1 hour, or 1000 watt into 1 hour, or we can write 1 hour into seconds as 3600 seconds, or watt second will give us joule, then it will be 3 6 1 2 3 4 5, right? 3 and 2 5 joules or watt seconds, or we can say 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joules. So commercial unit for electrical energy is 1 kilowatt hour, and it is equal to 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joules, right? This is all about electric energy. If we talk about electric power, then what is electric power? The total work done or energy supplied by the source of EMF is the electrical energy, and the rate at which this work is done by the source of EMF is called electric power. Means जो total work done source of EMF ने किया in maintaining an electric current, that is called electric energy. And इस work done को करने का जो rate है, work done per unit time, or the rate at which this work is done by the source of EMF to maintain the electric current in the circuit for a given time, is called electric power. So we can write electric power as the rate at which work is done by a source of EMF in maintaining an electric current through a circuit is called electric power, right? So the rate at which work is done is called electric power, or we can say the rate at which an appliance converts electric energy in the form of other energy. Means what is happening if you are using an appliance, that means आपका जो अप्लायंस है वो इलेक्ट्रिक एनर्जी या वर्क डन को कंज्यूम करता है एंड उसको कन्वर्ट करता है किसी और फॉर्म में एनर्जी के, लाइक मैकेनिकल एनर्जी, हीट एनर्जी और एनी अदर फॉर्म ऑफ एनर्जी फॉर दैट पर्पस, फॉर विच पर्पस इट इज़ used. If it is a heater, then it will convert that electrical energy into heat energy. So the rate at which that appliance converts electric energy into other form of energy is the same, is called its electric power. So we can also define electric power as the rate at which an appliance converts electric energy into other forms of energy. Electric energy into other forms of energy. This is also called as electric power, and it is given as power is equal to work done per unit time or VIT upon T. So this will be cancelled and power is equal to VI, or we can write it as I square R or V square upon R. So all these values represent electric power, and the basic formula is electric power is equal to current into voltage. Now SI unit of power is watt. SI unit of power is watt, and 1 watt is equal to 1 volt into 1 ampere. 1 watt is equal to 1 volt into 1 ampere. So SI unit of power is 1 watt or watt, and 1 watt is equal to 1 volt into 1 ampere, right? And the bigger units, if we talk about the bigger units, then these are 1 kilowatt and 1 megawatt. 1 kilowatt is equals to 10 to the power 3 watt, and 1000 watt, and 1 megawatt is equal to 10 to the power 6 watt, right? And a commercial unit of power is horsepower. If we talk about commercial unit, then commercial unit of power is horse power, and it is written as HP. Now 1 HP is equals to 746 watts. This is the commercial unit of electric power. Now after electric power, the term comes is power rating. What is power rating? Right? So power rating of any electrical appliance is actually the electrical energy consumed per second by that appliance. So हमें पता है that if we are using an appliance in a circuit, then it will be consuming some electrical energy, and that energy is provided by the source of EMF to maintain that current. Now this that much energy जो वो electrical appliance consume करेगा in 1 second, that is called as the power rating of that appliance, right? So the power rating of an electrical appliance is actually the electrical energy consumed per second by the appliance when connected across the marked voltage of the mains. The marked voltage of the means जितना वोल्टेज उसको नीडेड है उतने वोल्टेज उतना सोर्स के मेंस के बीच में हमने उसको कनेक्ट किया है, एंड देन जितना इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी वो कंज्यूम करता है पर सेकेंड में, दैट इज कॉल्ड इट्स पावर रेटिंग, राइट? ओके, come to the next topic. Next thing that we want to study is the temperature dependence of resistivity, or we can say that we want to explain the variation of resistivity with the change in temperature. Here we are also defining the term called temperature coefficient of resistivity. So let's start. First of all, the resistivity of any material depends on the number density of free electrons and mean collision time. We know that the resistivity rho is equal to m upon n e square tau, where m and e are constants and this rho depends on two factors. These factors are n and tau. N is the free electrons density, or we can say number density of free electrons, and tau is the mean collision time. So to see the dependence of resistivity, we have to consider these two factors. Here we will be defining the temperature dependence of resistivity for different kind of materials. So first of all, I will be defining it for metals. We are considering the case of metals. So for metals, the number density small n of free electrons is almost independent of temperature, because there are a large number of free electrons in metals. That's why it is independent of temperature. So as we increase the temperature, जैसे जैसे हम टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज करेंगे, द थर्मल स्पीड ऑफ फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन्स इंक्रीजेज. सो व्हाट वी आर observing is, as we increase the temperature in case of metals, as we increase the temperature, the thermal speed of these free electrons also increases. Now as the thermal speed increases, the amplitude of vibration of metal ions increases. जैसे जैसे ये थर्मल स्पीड बढ़ेगा, टेम्परेचर बढ़ाने से थर्मल स्पीड बढ़ेगा, एज वेल एज vibrations of metal ions, or I should say amplitude of, actually vibration नहीं, vibration का amplitude of vibrations of metal ions also increases. So in case of metals, if we increase the temperature, thermal speed of electrons, of free electrons, will increase, as well as the amplitude of vibrations of metal ions also increases. Now because of these two, the free electrons collide more frequently with the metal ions. Because of these two, जो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हैं वो अभी ज़्यादा जल्दी जल्दी कोलाइड करने वाले हैं मेटल आयन से. दैट मीन्स नंबर ऑफ कोलिजन्स इंक्रीज होगा. सिंस नंबर ऑफ कोलिजन्स इंक्रीज हो रहा है, जिस तो जल्दी जल्दी कोलिजन्स होगा, दैट मीन्स कोलिजन्स के बीच का जो टाइम है इट विल डिक्रीज. सो बिकॉज ऑफ द increase in the number of collisions, or because the collisions are happening more frequently now, the mean collision time decreases. That means number of collision बढ़ने से the mean collision time, that is tau, decreases. Now tau decreases implies the resistivity of the material will increase, because we know that rho is inversely proportional to tau. So since rho is inversely proportional to tau, so this shows that as t decreases, rho increases. Means जैसे जैसे आप टेम्परेचर को बढ़ा रहे हो, जो मीन कोलिजन टाइम है वो डिक्रीज हो रहा है, क्योंकि नंबर ऑफ कोलिजन्स इंक्रीज हो रहे हैं, एंड एज अ रिजल्ट द रेजिस्टिविटी increases and conductivity decreases. Hence in case of metals, resistivity increases and conductivity or sigma decreases as temperature increases. Now this we were talking about metals, in case of metals. Now here is a point to note that in most of the metals, this variation means the resistivity increases linearly with increasing temperature. The variation between resistivity and temperature is linear. That means for most of the metals, resistivity increase linearly with increase in temperature around and above room temperature. So in all such cases, we can write resistivity as rho is equal to rho naught 1 plus alpha T minus T naught, where this rho naught is the resistivity at lower reference temperature that we are considering, means T naught, usually about 20 degrees Celsius, and alpha is the coefficient of resistivity. So we can define coefficient of resistivity alpha as rho minus rho naught upon rho naught T minus T naught is equal to 1 upon rho naught d rho over dt. Now, alpha, or the temperature coefficient of resistivity, can be defined as the increase in resistivity per unit resistivity per degree rise in temperature. So what this formula explains, the change or the increase in resistivity with the change in temperature per unit resistivity, means जितना आप टेम्परेचर बढ़ा रहे हो उतना resistivity बढ़ रही है per unit resistivity. So the temperature coefficient of resistivity alpha can be defined as the increase in resistivity per unit resistivity per degree rise in temperature. This is the definition of thermal coefficient, or sorry, temperature coefficient of resistivity, that is called alpha. Now this was all about the metals, and we conclude that in case of metals, when we increase temperature, resistivity increases and conductivity decreases. Come to the next type of materials, that is semiconductors and insulators. Both these semiconductors and insulators vary in a similar manner. So here in second type of materials, we are seeing the change or the dependence of resistivity on temperature in case of semiconductors and insulators. So in case of insulators and semiconductors, the relaxation time or the mean collision time tau doesn't change with temperature, but this time the number density of free electrons increases exponentially with the increase in temperature. Now here we have the relation, the number density n is equal to n naught e to the power minus e g, this is the band gap energy, upon kb T. So if we increase the temperature T, the number density small n increases in case of both semiconductors and insulators, since rho depends inversely on n. So when this number density increases, the resistivity of the material decreases. Hence, due to the exponential increase in the number of free electrons with increase in temperature, the resistivity decreases exponentially while the conductivity increases exponentially with increase in temperature. So if temperature increases, the number density increases. As a result, resistivity decreases and conductivity increases. Now this is exponential increase, so this will be also an exponential increase or decrease in case of resistivity and increase in case of conductivity. All right, so we have studied about the metal, semiconductors and insulators. Then the another kind of material that is possible is electrolyte. The another kind of material that is possible is electrolytes. So for electrolytes, resistivity or conductivity is due to the ions present in them. So basically, when we increase the temperature in case of electrolytes, right, when we increase the temperature in case of electrolytes, there are two factors. First, inter-ionic attractions, and the second is viscous force. Now because of the increase in temperature, these two factors like inter-ionic attractions as well as viscous force decreases. Now because of this decrease, ions now are more free to move, means ions, because of these two forces, the decrease in these two forces, the ions are more free to move now. Since they are more free to move, it implies their conductivity increases conductivity increases, and as a result resistivity decreases, right? So in an electrolytic solution, if we increase the temperature, the conductivity increases and the resistivity decreases, because there is a decrease in interionic attraction and viscous force, and ions will be more free to move with the increase in temperature. So this is all about the temperature dependence of resistivity in case of metals, semiconductors, insulators, as well as electrolytes. So in case of metals, resistivity increases with increase in temperature, while in case of semiconductors and insulators, resistivity decreases exponentially with increase in temperature, and in case of electrolytes, conductivity increases and resistivity decreases with increase in temperature. And the next question that we are including in this video is why electric power transmitted at high voltage and low current. So we have to see the reason for this. We know that the power that is transmitted from power stations to our homes through cables, so these cables have some resistance and power is wasted in them in the form of heat, and we want to minimize this power loss. Our task is to minimize this power loss happening in the transmission. So suppose a power capital P is delivered to a load capital R, means via wires current is flowing I. Now here is some resistance R from us in the form having the voltage V, and the power P is transmitted, right? In this process, power capital P is transmitted to a load capital R via transmission cables. Now this cable have resistance. The resistance of the cable is RT. RT is the resistance of the cable, while capital R is the resistance of the load. If we have the voltage V across the load R and current I is flowing through it, then the power P is equal to V into I, right? Now the power that is wasted in transmission cable is PT. This is the power that is consumed. This is the power PT that is wasted in the cable while transmission. So it will be I square RT, I square RT, or if I substitute the value of I from this relation, so it will be P square upon V square RT. Now this is the power that is wasted in transmission cable, right? So the power wasted in the transmission cable is inversely proportional to the square of the voltage, that is PT is inversely proportional to the inversely proportional to the square of the voltage, means PT is proportional to 1 upon V square. So to minimize the power loss, the electric power is transmitted at high voltages and low currents, means if we keep the voltage high, this value PT will be minimum. So to transmit the power at long distances with minimum power loss, the electric power is transmitted at high voltages and low currents, and this voltages are stepped down by using the transformers. To step down this voltage, means that voltage we create is high and the voltage that we want to transmit is low. So to step down the voltage, we need transformers, right? So the reason is the power consumed is this VI, the power transmitted through the cable is I square RT. If I substitute the value of I, it will be P square upon V square RT. That means the power transmitted through the cable is inversely proportional to the square of voltage. So if I keep V minimum, then I get maximum power, but that is not the task. We want to minimize the power of this power loss in the transmitting wire. So to minimize this, we need high voltage. So we transmit the energy at high voltages, and then when we receive those energy with high voltage, we use step down transformer to transform that to the voltage of required need. Suppose we are transmitting at 2000 volts or 3000 volts, and at our homes appliances need 200 300 volts, so we use step down transformer there to convert that high voltage power into high voltage energy into low voltage energy by using step down transformers. The next question that we are adding in this video is why alloys have greater resistivity than their constituent metals. So to understand this, we will consider an example of nichrome. Nichrome is an alloy that is consists of nichrome and chromium, right? So this is a nichrome and chromium alloy. In this alloy of nichrome, there exist nichrome Ni2 plus ions and chromium 3 plus ions. These ions are present in this alloy, and these ions have different charge and size, and they are occupying random locations relative to each other. Means through all these ionic sites, somewhere there is nickel ion, somewhere there is chromium ion. There is no particular order, and these ions occupy random locations relative to each other. So when an electron try to pass through this very random medium, it gets deflected frequently. So whenever an electron try to travel across this alloy, it face these randomly oriented ions and get deflected frequently. Because of this deflection, the relaxation time decreases, or we can say number of collisions increases, or there is multiple deflection, so बार बार वो deflect हो रहा है, that's why the relaxation time tau decreases. Due to that decrease in tau, we know that rho is inversely proportional to tau. So whenever this tau, the relaxation time decreases, the resistivity increases, right? So there is a small relaxation time, hence large resistivity. So in general, if we are not saying about nichrome only, in general alloys have more resistivity than that of their constituent metals, because these alloys have different ions with different charge and different size placed at different random locations relative to each other, and whenever electron try to pass through it, because of this very random orientation, it get frequently deflected. Because of that, the relaxation time tau decreases and the resistivity of the alloy increases. Hence alloy have more resistivity than that of their constituent metals. So this was all about this video. In this video we have considered some miscellaneous topics from the chapter current electricity. These are important topics asked frequently in question in exams or in viva. So go through these and keep studying. We will come soon with next video. Till then, study hard and stay safe.